Hi everyone. My name is Fatima Arshad, and I'm a senior associate software engineer at Capital One. And I'm also a very proud volunteer and member of Women Who Code mobile community. Today, I'm going to talk about app clips for iOS 14. And the agenda of my talk is what are app clips, how we can invoke them, life cycle of an app clip, how we can configure app clips in our mobile application, and then I will be touching a little bit about how we can perform the testing on app clips and their limitations. So let's begin with what are app clips. App clips are the smaller parts of your mobile application, which gives a direct and streamlined experience to users and help them get what they need at the right time with a minimum friction. It also allows users to preview the smaller parts of mobile application quickly without having a need of installing the entire application. So there would be no harm in saying that app clips are smaller working parts of your mobile application, which allow users to enjoy instantaneous functionality. So how we can invoke these app clips? Honestly, there are several ways of invoking app clips, but here are few of them. You can simply launch the app clip by performing any of these invocation methods. Let's say by scanning an NFC tag or a visual code placed at some physical location or tapping a link in the Maps app. You can also experience the app clips by tapping a smart app banner if your website is configured for the smart app banner. Also, tapping a location-based Siri suggestion. If someone has shared a link with you via a message, you can click on that link to open up an app clip experience. But Apple yet has to announce how these invocation URLs would be extracted in order to share via a message. Lastly, Apple will be rolling out their app clips code along with the tools to help to create these visually beautiful and distinct app clips code. App clips basically consist of three parts. The first one is the application. By nature, app clips are additive, which means you have to have the main application in order to create app clips. Also, you cannot submit the app clips on their own to the App Store. You have to submit the app clips along with the main application as part of the app review process. Secondly, the app clip experience. These are the invocation URL which are configured to invoke the relevant app experience, as they are the entry points to the app clip card. They are categorized as default and advanced app clips. For any given app, you can have only one app clip card, but could have multiple app clip experiences. For that, you have to configure your URLs in such a way to open specific part of your mobile application. Lastly, the app clips. These are the on-demand binaries. So let's talk about the life cycle of an app clip. App clip begins when a user interacts with any of these invocation methods. Let's say the user has interacted with the NFC tag, which is one of the invocation. The iOS system detects this invocation or detects this NFC tag as an invocation method and extract an invocation URL. This URL defines the expected behavior or functionality from this invocation. The iOS system passes invocation to the app clip along with the data needed to point the user to the functionality required to service this NFC tag. If your mobile device has already installed the full application, then your main application will be launched, and this invocation URL will be passed along as it's passed in the universal link flow. Your operating system actually validates this invocation URL by reading the Apple App Site Association file from the domain. Once this invocation URL is validated, the operating system downloads the app clip card and shows on the front of your mobile device. Honestly, this is going to be a very fast and quick process because the allowed maximum size for the app clip card is not more than 10 megabytes. So you can imagine it's going to be a very fast process. So now this app clip actually is the face of your whole app clip process, and it serves many purposes, such as it shows the description along with the image about this app clip card, and there you will see a call to action button which actually informs the user what expected behavior or what this app clip is going to do or what the whole process is going to look like. And then you will see a smart banner or a small banner at the bottom of your app clip card, which actually takes you to the App Store. This banner actually keeps the URL to navigate the user to the App Store. So let's say you have clicked on the call to action button. Now the full version or the full page of your app clip card would open. The same kind of banner which you have seen on the app clip card on the previous screen will also be shown on the full version of your app clip page, but it will hide after some time. But let's say during the cycle of this whole app page or flows, you want to re-show the same banner somewhere else in the page. So you can redo it by using the SK overlay, but I will be talking about that a little bit in the next slide. So what happens? Let's say the user never returned to the app clip, or he's not going to use the app clip at all. So your operating system actually detects that there is an inactivity of this app clip card, and it automatically removes the app clip from the operating system. But like if the operating system sees that the user is frequently using the same app clip card, it prolongs or expands the time span of the app clip card. So here one thing is important. When the users are frequently using your app clip, there is a potential possibility that the user is going to download the full application. So let's say when the user downloads the full application, the app clip card is automatically deleted. The only thing which remains until your main application adopts is the global data or the shared data, which the app clip or your main application is sharing, because I have mentioned their additive feature. So they are going to use the same set of like information, classes, or images. All right, as I have discussed earlier, you can show the banner. So in order to display an App Store overlay on App Clip banner, you can simply create an SK overlay.appclip configuration with an object with an Apple identifier. And then you can pass this configuration to the SK overlay. Then you are all set to display on your overlay on the visible scene. But if you are using the SwiftUI, then you have to make use of App Store overlay is presented configuration method. Now you have what is app clip, what is the life cycle of app clip. So we need to know what steps an app clip developer has to do in order to link these app clips, or in order to build this whole experience. First, you have to make changes to your web server and your app clip project. So these links can be handled for the app clips. Next, you have to configure your app clip card. This is the card which actually introduces the user with the app clip, which is a part of app clip experience. You can configure your local and advanced app clip experiences on the App Store Connect. Lastly, you have to configure Smart App Banner for your web page. If you think that the content of your web page can be delivered for a better and more streamlined app clip experience, then always consider having this Smart App Banner for your web page. Sorry about this. All right, so here I'm gonna play a small demo. So, this will introduce you how to create an app clip project for within your existing project. So there you go. Start an app clip project. You have to make sure that you are running your Xcode project on Xcode version 12, and the minimum required iOS version is set to 14. Now you have to open up your Xcode project, which I already have done in my case. And I will now be creating a new app clip target. You can create a new app clip target by clicking this plus button on the side panel of your Xcode project setting, or by just going to the file menu, click on new, and select target. I will choose to create a new app clip target. Select on app clip template and press next. I will call it a mobile clip. Click on finish, and it will automatically be embedded in our full mobile application. You have noticed that the Xcode has populated automatically the name and the bundle identifier of your application. Start an app clip project. You have to make sure. Now we have set up our app clip project. Next, we have to make the association between the website and app clips project. So this can be validated, and we can present the contents from the invocation URL. For this, we have to update our Apple App Site Association file and the app clip project with the associated domain entitlements. So if your application is already supporting the universal links, then you probably be having this AASA file already existing on the website or your web server. In that case, you only have to add this app clips key, which carries a dictionary of apps carrying or containing your Apple bundle identifier. So you have updated your Apple App Site Association file. And one more thing, this AASA file usually resides under the .well-known folder of the root directory of your project. After setting the web server, you need to update the domain entitlements into your project. To update the domain entitlements in the Apple project or your main project, you have to click on the capabilities and add the associated domain. Under associated domain, just add the string app clips : whatever your domain you are configuring this app clip experience for, you have to put over here. Now, the association between your web server and app clip project is ready. The only thing left behind is you have to handle these links and everything within your code. If your mobile application has adopted to the new SwiftUI, this is how you're gonna be sniffing and using the information coming from the content. So you have to handle the browsing web user activity object. And you will be extracting the web page URL from the user activity and then passing this URL to extract the contents of this invocation experiences. But if you are using the UIKit app-based lifecycle, you have to implement the callback defined in UI application delegate. But you have to make sure that you are implementing the application continue restoration handler callback, because your application did finish launching does not support or does not have access to NS user activity. Also, invocation should be of type NS user activity type browsing web. Now, how we can test these app clips? Honestly, this is a great idea to test the app clips locally before submit your app clip and your app to the App Store. So you just have to specify this _xe app clip URL in the app clips run scheme by passing the URL, right? And after, when you update everything under the environmental variables, you are ready to test your app clip project. Just run it and it will launch the same invocation URL for you on your device. And as I have mentioned earlier, that the Safari Smart Banner is a good option for your web page if you plan to show this banner on your web page, so everyone can experience the app clip thing on your device. So you have to update your meta tag in your web servers. Usually it's under index.html file. So you have to add this meta tag with a app ID. So here, the purpose of adding an app ID is that if someone is using or running their device less on iOS 13, less than iOS 14, so they might not be experiencing this iOS clip experience, because this is something new which the Apple rolled out for iOS 14, and they don't have the capabilities or they don't have the capability to run on the previous version of iOS. So if we give this ID, the iOS operating system detects like, okay, this is the app clip ID. It can we cannot launch the app clip experience, so it will open up the full application for them. Now let's talk about the limitations of app clip. So there are honestly many limitations in considering and developing app clips. The first one is you have to make sure your app clip is not going beyond 10 megabytes in size. If you think like your tool or component is going to be big, then this is not something for you. Also, they cannot share any data with other apps besides the corresponding full app. They're also not included in the iOS backup. So you have to keep in mind, if you want to plan something that it will back up for you via your app clip experience, then no, it's a big no. There are many frameworks which are not available for app clip, like CloudKit, HelpKit, HomeKit, etc. Also, you cannot perform the background activities such as background networking with NSURL session or maintaining Bluetooth connections. Also restricted to access data from contents, music, photos, etc. So this was all about app clips today. Hope you have learned. And yeah, thank you. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me on my Twitter or Instagram handler. I'm really active on on Twitter, and I'm mostly be tweeting about the Women Who Code community. So thank you so much, all. If you have any question, just let me know.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Your talk was great. App clips seem so interesting. So I know that there's one question from Rui asking, generally, what cases would you think are good for building app clips versus building widgets?
Oh, honestly, widgets has a lot more capabilities than app clips, I must say. So let's say I'm developing an application for some retail store, or I'm developing some application for a coffee shop or some smoothie shop. So let's say I go to the smoothie shop every day, and they have like a new deal going on, like a mango smoothie. Like I usually go to the tropical smoothie. Let's say they have a app clip code over there for the mango smoothie. So I don't have to get into the line. So that is one of the use cases. I scan the app clip code and I'm ready to order from there and just pick up. So these are the scenarios and use cases I think of, like developing the app clips code.
Awesome. I hope that answered your question. If there are any more questions, please feel free to leave them in the chat, or you can message Fatima directly, or as she mentioned, you can find her on the Women Who Code Slack, Women Who Code Mobile Slack, and message her there directly.
All right. Thank you, everyone.